You want to go first, Eva?
No, you go first, Ellen, please. Happy
Okay.
New Year.
Okay, I'm Alan Kusunoki, Rotary Club of Hilo, and return Peace Corps volunteer. I try to make that clear because now that we have a relationship between Rotary and Peace Corps. Your turn, Eva.
Okay, my name is Eva Go Yip. I am our club located at the Rotary Club of Waikiki. We are funny club. Our club is fun. So we try to help people and try to, make a friendship. We are friendly and fun club. Okay, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you,
Mark Harbison, then Dick.
Who would you like first?
Mark Harbison.
Hi, Rotary Club of Kihei Wailea, and I am interested in this as part of a kind of general peace project in our district, and yeah, this is an important part of it. So I'm very interested.
Good. And I'm Dick May, Rotary Club of Kapolei and the AG for West Oahu clubs. And I'm interested in this for a couple of reasons. For one thing, I think we are an organization that is pretty diverse, but I think we need to continue to work on all the way that we brand ourselves so that we are seen as welcoming to people of all kinds. And diversity is more, our clubs, my club and several of them in my area are quite diverse ethnically. They're almost 50-50 male and female. But where we're not diverse necessarily among clubs, mine in particular, is in our age bracket. We're middle-aged and older, and that may not be bad. We want to bring in younger members and get that diversity of views. But if we are seen through our website and everything else as, okay, we're a breakfast club and we're mostly folks who aren't racing off to Honolulu to go to work, maybe we have barriers we don't know about. So I want to explore that and see how we can be more welcoming to everyone. It's about membership.
Thank you. Okay, Wendy, then Nestorio.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Wendy Chang, and I'm from the Rotary Club of East Honolulu. I'm always for inclusion at every level. I think when you have a diversity of people, genders, ages, races, you're always going to get a variety, a much better variety of ideas at the table. I don't always say this, but I am a feminist, so I used to work in the YWCA, and I am very much a supporter of gender equality, so that's probably why I'm here. But anyway, that's me. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Nestorio Domingo, Rotary Club of Kona Sunrise, here on the beautiful Big Island west side. I served in the Navy for 29 years, 2 months, and diversity is nothing new to me because I was recruited directly from the Philippines, and that was the only, race, so to speak, that I dealt with. And then I came here to the United States and met all kinds of people, black, brown, green, yellow. Oh, there's no green. All kinds. So it's nothing new to me. I dealt with diversity throughout all my Navy career, basically, and but being a Rotarian, I think it's a whole different aspect, having to deal with the non-military people and different perspective, things like that. So it's that's the only thing that I have to contend with.
Thank you. And we have a green lady in Wahiawa, so maybe we have green. Alicia, then Carol.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alicia Dupre, and I'm with the Rotary Club of Kapolei Sunset. And I am very happy that Naomi asked me to participate with this, because this is something that I would be very interested in. I'm with Dick. Everything that he said, I am for it. You know, I'd like to get some younger people in our group. And also, I'm interested in having more people of different colors in Rotary. So that is something that I would really enjoy working on.
I got to add, as her AG, Alicia has always been a dynamo and a great club president. If we could clone her, we'd do that. But thank you for all you
Thanks,
do.
Dick.
Aloha, I am Karen Reynolds, and I am with the Rotary Club of Hickam Pearl Harbor. And being in the military for about 23 years, we too have, you know, diversity has, well, I'm pretty much used to it. And then I didn't grow up in America. So America was like a culture shock, literally. And even though I've been here close to 40 years now, it's still some getting used to. Thank you, Naomi, too, for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm actually a part of a group with the Seeds of Peace for Racial Justice right now. And so it will be great to see what kind of ideas we have here and to what they're doing statewide. Their racial program is set up really, it is not black and white, which in my mind, everything was always black and white, you know, and I was never afraid to say that. My world has always been black and white. And so this will be a great learning experience for me, because Rotary was always Caucasian men. And I know most of you all know that. So I was told to join the Lions Club because I would never be accepted in Rotary. And my father was a Lions for his whole life, you know? So that's what I was used to. But this will be a great experience, and I look forward to learning and being a part of this movement for Rotary, because my club is extremely diverse, and we have a lot of young people. Alan and I, and maybe Emily and Dennis are like the old folks in there. But diversity, inclusion, and all of that is something that we all need to be kind of paying attention to, especially now. We need to be looking out for each other, with each other. So thank you.
Thanks. Carol, Mylene says that your club is the poster child for diversity and inclusion. Okay, Mark, Miriam, and then Sonia.
Hi, folks. Happy New Year, everybody. And Carol, I'm glad you joined Rotary instead of Lions. I think one of our great opportunities as a leading community service organization is having these kinds of discussions and to get the word out that Rotary is, first of all, talking about DEI and then taking action steps to be more inclusive and to be equitable. I think we have a long ways to go, especially in inclusion, to make our organization welcoming and inviting to the community at large. And I think by having these kinds of discussions now, we're really on the forefront and leading the way in our community. You know, Nation is talking about these kinds of things, and even the Boy Scouts are now coming out with a DEI merit badge that young people can work on. It's an important discussion to have, and I'm glad to be part of it. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Sonia Mendez here from Wailuku, Maui. Happy New Year. I'm really happy to report that in our Rotary Club of West Pearl Harbor, within the last 3 years, our club has gotten a lot more diverse. When I first joined the club almost 5 years ago, it was mostly retired professional people of the Asian culture with a few Caucasians. But now we are happy to report that we have, we've added one person under 40. We've added 3 people under 30, and they are all people of color. And our membership right now is really happy because they see the younger generation coming in. They're really thrilled about that. What I would hope for our club to expand on is to have young male professionals in our club. So that's something that we're working towards. I do know that when it comes to how a club presents itself to the rest of the world, it's really important to show the face of your club as a very, very diversified membership. And if it is younger people that you're wanting to attract, then those are the types of people that should be in the photos as well.
Thank you. Lila?
Hello, everyone. I'm Lila Berg from the Rotary Club of Honolulu. It seems that I'm the only voice from East Oahu. And I'm here just because Naomi sent the email and said, would you attend? I'm not sure that I'm necessarily a good candidate for the task force. I will do as much as I can. I would encourage us to ask different questions, and rather than be so preoccupied, I guess, with numbers of members who are of a certain ethnicity or of a certain age. I guess what troubles me when we talk about diversity is I didn't grow up. I grew up here in Hawaii. I wasn't born here, but I grew up in Hawaii of a mixed Hapahaole family. And I don't recall seeing color or actually even seeing age. And when I went to college, I was labeled as a woman of color because my mother is Filipino. I'm not Haole. I grew up actually in Europe, and so in Hawaii, but spending time in Europe. And so I didn't know what that was. So I guess I just caution us to be cognizant of how inclusive, the word inclusive feels differently than diversity. There's so much attention right now at making sure that organizations have an equal number of men and women and different ethnicities. But I will do as I can, and I just encourage us to ask different kinds of questions and really question our club as to what is our why, and it's not how do we get more under 40s? What do we do that that generation under 40 would find compelling to be part of? What do we offer as older people, as different ethnicities, as Rotarians that no other organization offers? And when we can answer those questions, I think, it's kind of like build it and they shall come, as opposed to looking for, okay, we need a certain number of, youngers. That's sort of the conversation in my club right now. How do we get the youngers and how do we keep them? And well, I'm not sure what younger means. So I'll be here, Naomi, to support you and to do what I can.
Thank you. And who's popping in? Is that Randy Hart?
It is. Hi, Naomi.
Okay, so we're going name, rank, and serial number. So, and why are you interested in this committee?
Is that a question to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, quite simple. I'm interested in building Rotary and Rotarian numbers. That's kind of the bottom line for me. and do it however we can do it.
Okay. So, well, that's Randy Hart from the Hilo Club, district governor nominee. And are you driving? Drive safely now.
I will. Thank you, Naomi, for your concern.
Okay, so we have all different backgrounds and different reasons why we're here. And Lila, you're right. It's not about numbers or how many women or men. It's about what's the right thing for your club. And so when you look at opportunities, when we're looking at the demographics of your community, the opportunity might be there that you're missing some section of the community. And if the club feels that it's the right size, they're getting done what they need to get done, then maybe the solution is we need to form another club that addresses that opportunity of another demographic characteristic that we're missing. So looking at the big picture of what Rotary can do and who the reach, the impact is, we need to look at all of those things. So it's not about, we're not telling any of the clubs that you have to have so many women or you have to have so many people under a certain age. It's what are the opportunities that if you're looking for young people or older people because you're missing that opportunity, then what can we do? So we have a president's meeting coming up on the 23rd, and for 1 hour from 10 to 11, we want to talk with the presidents and the president-elects and membership chairs about what we need to do to take an assessment of the club. What is it that the club needs to do to fill a gap, if there is a gap? What is it about the community that we're missing? What opportunities are there to serve? And so that's what this discussion is all about. And Mark, Miriam, you're saying that there's a lot of things to do. We need to hear what those things that we need to do. Where do we need to reach out? What strategy? What direction should we go? And so that's what this discussion is, to get different views from different people and see what it is that we need to do. So Mark, do you want to start? You said we have a lot of work to do. Where is it that we need to work? What do we need to do to get to where we should be?
I think just based on hearing what we've all been mostly talking about is on the diversity side. And I really think we need to focus on the inclusion and the equity side. We actually do relatively well in diversity. Look at this group, we're skewed a little bit on the age side, but it is a diverse group of our community, representative of across our islands, a lot of different socioeconomic, and we do pretty well there in Rotary. And comments about different clubs are positive with that. But inclusion is the welcoming of people to Rotary and to be known as the organization that wants you to become a member of. I think we can look out that way, and that's a discussion, a deeper discussion that we need to have.
Okay. So
And Naomi, may I ask something? This is Lila. Hi. I guess what's moving in my mind now is, what is the problem? What is the issue, or what is the situation that we feel diversity is an appropriate response to? And maybe that's not the question, but if I could have a little more clarity, then I could see how we might lead our club into even a discussion about how to be more inclusive of a community that we represent. You know what I mean?
Mark Harbison?
Lila, one thing, I don't think you were at our last meeting, but one thing we discussed in our last meeting is that we do very well on diversity, except in the socioeconomic sphere. Uh, so, overall, we probably we skew very heavily toward people who are pretty well off. And I think it's pretty difficult. It is certainly in my club, difficult for people who, find $16 for lunch challenging to be attracted to the club. Uh, that I think that is where, if anything, the Hawaii clubs sort of fall down. And if you go to our larger gatherings, our district meetings, it's pretty clear that, especially on Oahu, we're dealing with people who are you know uh, industry leaders, confident people who are happy being where they are, have the money to be where they are, and you know that's an issue for Rotary. I think that's coming out, for example, we're trying to get a Rotaract club going on Maui, and it's very difficult because they just they don't see the connection. These are like poor nursing students on Maui, and some of them are living at home, some of them are, living in apartments that they can barely afford, and they're working 2 and 3 jobs to be able to go to college. So, you know, so sorry, that's I just meant to update you on what we had discussed before, but
Okay, so every club has its own not issues but characteristics, and every community is different. And so if we take a look at your community and see, do we reflect that community, and if not, what can we do? So if it is working with Rotaractors, how can we give them value from Rotary that would help them? But it's also our mission to help youth with leadership skills. So this is an awareness and a discussion of what needs to be done. And if there is a problem, because sometimes there is no problem, if you've got a club that is very, very inclusive and diversified, it's no problem. But sometimes we don't see what other people might see, that we're missing something. So for instance, when the young professionals met, they were saying that sometimes they don't feel welcome in their club. They don't they're not attracted to the club because the speakers are not interesting, or there's no fun. So it's what do we need to do to give value to our members? And we can't be all things to everybody, but if we want to be inclusive, if the club wants to be diversified, then what is it that we need to take a look at, and look at it from their point of view, from their slippers, and see what we can do. Okay, so with the training that's coming up, we wanted to ask you, what are some things that we should be talking about? What kind of, not pockets or issues, but what kind of awareness items should we be covering?
Well, Naomi, if I could ramble for just a minute. I think that if we look at what we do, DEI, maybe I'm a quorum of one person, but I believe that diversity is the result. We're pretty diverse. I think equity and inclusion are the tools that we use to get to diversity. And I think that, and I said it was about membership. The reason I said that was not self-centered. It's because by growing membership, by getting enthusiastic Rotarians, we can do more for the world around us, which I think we want to do. And if we keep those Rotarians because they like being a part of our Rotary family, we continue doing those good things. So it's how to do that. And that's not an easy thing. And I suppose it differs from club to club, but I think image is a part of it. I mean, I'm the prototypical guy. If you want to put up a poster child for an old white-haired Howley guy, okay, it could be me, but I'm a 20-year-old at heart. And so I really would like to see us be viewed as the organization of choice. If you're going to join anything larger than yourself that will help you grow, that will help you see what you can do for the community around you. And I think in part, one of the problems that we have is simply that in many areas in clubs, we talk about wanting to grow, but we're fairly comfortable with where we are. We may be comfortable in our own lives and we're comfortable with where the club is, and we don't feel some great impetus to change, to go out and do something different. And I think your point that it's not about an individual club, it's about finding people who find the right place in Rotary and will become Rotarians. And it's probably about our advertising and embracing other ways to be a Rotarian, satellite clubs, and other means other than our traditional meeting that we do face to face.
Thank you. Alicia? Oh, Sonia?
You know, I do know that when clubs give the younger members a chance to take a project that they would like to develop and give them the freedom to run with it, I do know that it empowers these younger members, and it makes them feel important, you know, instead of a club just doing the same kinds of, for example, fundraisers that they've always done for years and years and years. I'll use our West Pearl Harbor Club as an example. We had a member who came from the Philippines, and she wanted to do a project in the Philippines, and she was going to be the project manager for it and everything. And we thought, okay, you know, this young lady has a lot of energy. She's got a business plan here. We're just going to let her run with it, and we're going to support her in whatever way we can, whether it's donating to her project. But her project was very, very successful. And what happens is they start sharing it with everybody in their media circle. You know, they start sending tweets about it, Instagramming it, and you know, that whole generation of younger Rotarians, I mean, they have their own little underground communication that you know, folks like us who are over 60, we don't do all of that. You know, we're kind of old-fashioned in our communication, but they're instantaneous. You know, something happens, they take a picture, boom, they've shared it, and then their friends have shared it. And because of that, we've had a few other young Filipinas, young ladies who have expressed interest in wanting to be part of our Rotary Club too, because they've seen how our younger Rotarians have been able to do something and really get a lot of excitement and support. And the most important thing, the bottom line is, they feel like they are contributing to the betterment of the world, you know, because we've given them the power to do it, you know. And I think what happens is, a lot of times in very, very established Rotary clubs, it's like the old guard doesn't want to let go. You know, they're like, this is how we do it, you know, and there's got to be a letting go of trusting and letting these younger people come in and say, hey, we're going to do it, and letting them do it, you know. So I think that's something that all of our clubs can learn, is to be more flexible that way, and let the younger generation express their ideas and let them do that.
Absolutely. You know, it is a good learning exercise for them to grow in their career and in themselves. And, you know, some of the clubs who are not able to embrace that, we can offer them that separate club, separate group, the young professionals, so that they can get that kind of training or the kind of speakers that they want, while staying with their own club. So we want to offer these other avenues for people to get value out of Rotary, like fellowships and action groups. Okay, so I wanted to ask Alicia and Carol some of your views on what you see from your seat. Carol, you want to go?
Sure. So, wow. Sitting from here, and I'm going to do a second term now. So this is, it has been really, like I said, a serious learning curve. So the diversity, I love what Mr. Dick just said about diversity is the result, equity and inclusion are the tools. And so those things are important. Our club is still small. We keep talking about expanding. I have this line that I use with them. It's about quality, not quantity. Because you want whoever comes to join your club, you want to make sure that they're on the same path with you, right? You know, that they really want to contribute to your bowl of soup, you know, because if we're gonna cook a particular style of soup, we're not gonna add, you know, something that would make it taste awful. So I'm sorry, I use a lot of analogies about food. But we and from where we're sitting in our club, when we talk to people and stuff like that, if we see they don't have an idea of like, well, no, I don't really want to do this kind of project and whatever, we try to find a place for them within Rotary, even if it's not with us, right? Because the fact is that as Rotary, our job is to build Rotary, right? And like I have so much stuff is going on in my head because I kind of like what Ms. Lila was saying earlier about like, what is our why? What is the question? What is the purpose truly of a DEI in the district? And I get it. I do understand why we have to ask this particular question, why we are trying to develop a program, you know, so that the next person sits after you, Ms. Naomi, will, if somebody asks that question, you have a plan laid out, you know? But I think I maybe have to listen a little more because I have like a million things in my head and everything has a question and we'll be here a whole night. So I think I too, like Ms. Lila, have to get a better understanding of exactly what kind of action plan it is you're trying to create and who actually are we trying to create it for? Is it for us to make sure that we are doing the right thing in our community, or are we putting it out for our community to see that we are here, right? Because we want to be seen. And I don't want to be seen just as a part of Rotary. I want to be seen as an African-American woman representing Rotary in Hawaii. Right? And I think we all want that. We all want whatever it is who we are to be seen as that person. But we don't want to dilute it by saying, oh, well, you know, we're going to play nice and we're going to, no. So you see, I have a million questions and a million things. So I'm going to pass it to Alicia and I'll listen. I'll be a good listener.
Oh, to me? I do understand. I think that Rotary wants us to do this, I think for both reasons, for us as Rotarians and also for our community to also see what we're doing and that we are a diverse organization. You know, I'm not one to concentrate on race or age, but I think right now, as far as the world is concerned, there is a lot going on as far as race, what race is concerned, you know, concerning race. And I think for a long time, we've kept it no one really wanted to talk about it, and for it to be, put out there in the forefront. But I think that it is important. I've been here for 23 years, 24 years, from Philadelphia. And, Carol, I was kind of like you, living on the East Coast, it was either black or white. And it wasn't. And when I looked at Rotary, I remember seeing Rotary, and I really did think it was a group for Caucasian men, not even, women being involved. And when I think about Rotary, and when I said, I'd like to see more people of color in Rotary, it doesn't necessarily mean, Black people, which I would love, because when I talk to my friends, like, what is this about Rotary? They don't know anything about it. And I try to explain to them, and even my, college friends, and I try to tell them, why don't you check out Rotary, where you live? I know there's a Rotary Club. I'll let you know about it. But I really think that we do need uh, to get everyone involved. I would love to see more Black people in Rotary. I think that, and when I say that, I don't mean just Black people, brown people, Asian people, just everyone in Rotary. But I really would like to see Rotary be, more diverse. Um, and when we talk about age, it's like I'm almost 60. And when I think about younger people being in Rotary, I would love that, because I think they have different ideas than we do. And I am kind of old school, and sometimes I can be kind of rigid, and not as flexible as I think I am. But I think young people have a lot to say and a lot to give when it comes to Rotary, just some new ideas. As far as my club is concerned, a lot of us are retired. We do have some people that are working. I am not retired. um, but I think it would be really great to have some younger people in our club to kind of show us some different ways to do things. And just to, be able to really interact with some younger people. I would just love that, you know. Not to say that everyone, you middle-aged people, I don't want to hang out, I do. I do. But I do see where Rotary can open up more, you know. So that's all I have to say.
So
That's a lot.
So
Lila?
Naomi, thank you. And I really appreciate the comments of everyone who's sharing. Are we also talking about, or are we not talking about, or should we talk about, our current members and how to raise their awareness or their encouragement or their, I don't know, maybe it's awareness. I don't know. For me, Rotary, it's a club of people who like each other. We have to be sponsored by someone who says, come be with us, come join us, come have lunch or dinner, or let's play together. I mean, that's how I look at it. And so when we're looking for a potential member, because it sounds like we're on this prowl for, well, we need to have a certain number of young ones and this, and it's like our radar is out, and we're going to look and find them, seek and what is search and seek and search, or whatever it is. If we can raise the awareness maybe within our club members, so that when they are even retirees, you're in a store and you meet somebody and you make an acquaintance. That person might be a great companion in a Rotary project. And I think, maybe it was Mark who made the comment that our Rotary Club, our luncheons are very expensive. We're not going to the Royal Hawaiian anymore, when we come back, which is, it's difficult for the Kama'aina members to not have that place, that image, that whatever. But they're willing to say, okay, let's go have lunch and let's make friends. And so I think there's several things we're talking about here, but certainly I would encourage us to stay with the energy of, we invite people we like to be part of Rotary and to be a colleague of ours in a project. And then be aware and I guess be not be hesitant to talk with a younger or to talk with somebody who is maybe not of our ethnicity. It's a personal growth, I think, that we're looking at too, and awareness. And the whole idea of building membership, you know, it's, I don't know, I hope we would approach it as we want to have more kindred spirits with us, as opposed to more numbers.
Right. And that's what Holger said. Holger, the RI president, said, you know, don't think about the numbers. Think about somebody who fits, you know, someone, and it's not the age, you know, someone who fits the club and who wants to help us with what we do is the kind of member that we want. But we need more hands to do the good that we're doing, to do the project. So that's the Grow Rotary is about, that getting more hands to do what we need to do in our communities. But you know, getting Mark Carbison's comment about getting people to know that we are diversified, that we are an organization of DEI, and we advocate for that. That's one thing that we can do with our outward facing look, our advertising. That's one. Getting this idea in your own club to take a look at yourself in the mirror, the club in the mirror. Are we diversified as we need to be, or is there something that we should be doing? So it does start with you and your own club. But we can help other clubs with some ideas on how to grow if they are asking for help. So if someone wants to get more young people or middle-aged people, you know, let's see how we can help them with that. So the training that we want to do is not only about DEI and numbers or how to get there, it's also about how your club looks. How do you go and recruit people? How do you retain? How do you give value to your clubs? This is all part of DEI, and part of that is peace. So, you know, thinking about how, Lila, we have the peace pledge. You know, how can we be peaceful within our club and be accepting of opinions and accepting of other lifestyles? So it's all of that. So this is a really big project to do, but it does start with you and your club. So we have the training coming up. What are some of the things that you think we should highlight for DEI?
Naomi, can
Miss
I?
Naomi? Oh, okay.
Helen?
Yeah, perhaps I can start. One of the things that I think we have to do is look at our clubs, at the individuals that we have there, and realize that in Hawaii, you just automatically have so many interracial marriages, and you end up with a diverse membership already. Just, I mean, our Hilo Club is a good example of it. I mean, just a mixture of so many different ethnicities there. I didn't say when I introduced myself, but you know, one of the things that I know some of the individuals here who know me know that, you know, I grew up here in Hawaii, but because of the way that I speak, having lived outside of the islands for so long, I'm accused of being a katonk all the time. It's just an automatic thing. They just assume that that's the case. And I find myself kind of defending myself for that. But then as they get to know me, and of course I'm trying to get to know them, you know, they learn that I'm married to a girl from Afghanistan whom I met while I was in the Peace Corps. So now you've got me spending 2 years in Afghanistan, becoming very interested in this Afghan girl, marrying her, and now we have two girls who are Hapa. They're half Japanese, half Afghan. At the same time, the elder was born in Singapore while I was working there. And I know the Singapore culture, having lived there for over 2 years. And then we transferred to Hong Kong. And I have a daughter who was born in Hong Kong. And the two girls grew up in this 100%, you know, Asian culture. But at the same time, you have a case where in Singapore, we were stared at all the time. I always talk about the so-called triangle stare, because my wife and I are walking down the street with an umbrella stroller, and the eyes go to me, who they think, okay, Asian. Goes over to my wife, they can't figure out who she is, but she certainly doesn't look Asian. And then down to our daughter, who is obviously mixed. And then we go to Hong Kong, and the same thing happens. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that no matter where you go, people will look at you in a different way. And, you know, especially when it's so stark, when you have father, mother, entirely different ancestries, and then a child, you see that change there. And I know that there are so many of us in the Hilo Club who are like that. I mean, I know, having talked to them, and they come from mixed, you know, backgrounds. Their parents were not all Asian or all Caucasian. But then we also have to be careful of the fact that here in Hawaii, it's such a melting pot that I've met members in my club who are, you look at them, 100% Caucasian, you know, Dick, Mark, you know, just like you, 100% Caucasian. And they've been here in Hawaii for 3 generations. Their grandparents came here in the plantation days. And now they're a part of the community, and they don't think about anything else other than the fact that they're from Hawaii. And they are. There's no, I don't look at them differently. One of the things, my first exposure to DEI was at the Institute, the Zone Institute meeting. And what was shocking was the first DEI meeting I went to, they literally excluded those people who were not of color. I didn't have to say anything. I was accepted just because I look Asian. But there were several individuals, other Rotarians who came in who looked Caucasian. And the individuals who were there, who were controlling that meeting, were there. One was American Indian, another was, I believe, mixed ancestry with a lot of Black in her background. And they started to say, well, this is exclusively for those of color. And I said, wait a minute, if this is DEI, what is happening here? So I think we have to be careful of the fact that that those who are looking for diversification, equity, inclusion, that we don't exclude those who don't have any mixture. We don't want to exclude the older white Caucasian individuals into this effort to become more diversified, more equal, more inclusive. That's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Alan. Okay.
Well, let me offer a thought. If the biologists looked at us, we would recognize the fact that if we tried to find something different among us, 0.002% of us would be different based upon ethnicity. The rest of it is all common. We're all humans. So Alan's got a good point. Okay. If you enter a sword fight, the sword cuts both ways. If you enter a contest to hug, everybody feels better when they're hugged. And we can genuinely do that. If anyone can hug people and make people come together, it is us more than governments. So let's do it. Let's do it in District 5000, and let's do it now.
Yes, let's do it. But how do we do it? So that's what we need to do. So, so we have a lot of ideas going on here, and if we can kind of take some of them and get it going with action steps, then we can get some work done. Just talking about it is good, because then it raises your awareness and makes us more open to different opinions. But how can we get to where we want to be? So with Alicia, when you're talking about getting more women in your group, how do we approach them and get them to look at Rotary as an option? Or how do we look at the younger people or older people, whatever the demographics that we're trying to target? How do we get to that? Any ideas? Alicia, you're muted.
Okay. Am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little bit harder, I think, in the world of COVID. That's what I am trying to figure out. How do we attract more people with us not being able to really be out there? Because I know I always carry my business cards around, my club Rotary cards. So I always give them out to people. Sometimes people, because I usually wear my pin all the time, and someone will ask me, oh, what's that pin about? So I can give them a card. Or sometimes even if I kind of meet someone, and you know how you get someone's spirit seems like, hey, they might make a great Rotarian, so I'll give out my card, but I'm really not able to do that now. Every once in a while when I'm in a store, I might be able to connect with someone and, have them, but it's just, you just don't get that warm and fuzzy, I feel, with those Zoom meetings where people can really actually see the person and really talk to them. We still have projects that we do, but it's just not the same. So I was wondering, I know you all know about Neighborhood and Instagram and all those other ways to communicate. I was wondering if maybe there could be a way. I'm not really that, I do social media for work, but you know, really getting someone involved as far as Rotary is concerned. That's why I was thinking it'd be great to have some younger people who could really, you know, help out with that. But that is what I've been trying to do, trying to figure out how do we attract more people, even though we're not really out there where we, you know, actually talking, you know, to people. So I guess that's the same question. You asked me the question, I just ask it back again.
Well, there are ideas out there, and interestingly, because people are isolated, they're looking at ways to connect with people. And so we're seeing that some clubs are getting new members because they want this human connection, even though it's virtual. We're getting a lot more leads on the Rotary International website. Rotary International is doing more advertising until June. And so that is generating interest in Rotary. And so I think there are some people that want to connect with people, and this is one way they're doing it. They're seeing that we're out there doing projects. On Kauai, they do this, they give away this 50 boxes of produce every other week. And so people see them and they ask, how do I join? And so they get members that way. So your highway cleanup, Alicia, that you guys do, maybe you put a sign on there that has your address for your website, and people will say, hey, I want to join you. I want to know more about you. So, you know, there are ways to still reach out, even though we're on Zoom and we're still virtual. Carol?
Ms. Naomi, actually, I was just going to say to Alicia, I know that their project was the highway cleanup, and you can advertise on that. So we recently did a food delivery at the, you know, I never could say that word, the village, right? And from that, I got a phone call from one of the residents. I don't even know how she got my personal phone number, but she called and asked for help. You know, she said she needed something else. So I was able to get some other friends to go out and help her. And she's telling me when she's back on her feet, she wants to join the club, and she's been telling her neighbors, you know. But what we realize, even in our club, sometimes when you asked the question earlier, I was going to say we have to start meeting people where they're at. Right. Earlier, we talked about the old boys club, and someone was talking about a certain status for Rotary. Usually retirees who just have a lot of money. And, you know, I mean, those were all the stigmas or statements about Rotary, right? There's only rich people join Rotary and all this. But for us to grow Rotary, we have to start meeting people where they are and at whatever level they're at, and find a project or a purpose for them to want to be with us. So if it's highway cleanup, there is a group, there's another little website that has about services. You can go to that, any service you want to do on this island, you can volunteer for. Anything. And if you put it out there, there's a group that's doing just that. Those are the groups that Josh and I are, well, mainly Josh. And if you guys don't know Josh, Josh is my superstar. And he has everything, social media, everything, internet, everything. And so we are trying to find people where they're at, but it must be projects too that we enjoy doing, right? And that we can give full-heartedly, because if we're doing it just for the numbers and the status, the people who we are trying to help, no. They know you're just doing it because you just want to take a picture, right? So we all have to find the projects that, even if they're old projects, even if it's something we've been doing for years, you can revamp it and revitalize it by including the process, including them in the process, whoever it is we're meeting. And I think that's what we weren't doing in a lot of the clubs. I haven't visited a lot of the clubs. I don't know, I'm just going with what people would say to me. People would stay in their clubs and not go out and meet the people they're actually trying to support. They just want to write a check. And I've met a lot of young people say, well, yeah, well, so-and-so club just wrote a check, but we don't know who it's from. We have to break that stigma. right? And I'll say, well, call them, tell them come meet you, you know? So that's one of the things we have to do, is to meet the people where they are and find projects that they're interested in, or in their community, right? If in Wahiwa, like the Wahiwa group, they actually joined with the, what's the club I said I was going to join? The Lions, okay. So they actually joined with the Lions to help clean up that area, right? You have to meet the people where they are. Nobody wants to volunteer because Lions had a foothold in that area. But the Lions people were just as old and they couldn't do it. So you just join them, right? Meet them where they are and got the work done. So that's my idea.
Yeah, and you're right. There's so much need. Is kahau iki.
Yes.
But there is so much, and maybe they could do a satellite, a Rotary Club over there to help. You know, they don't need to be members. They can be a community core associates. Yeah. But they have so many needs there, and you're right. We need to see what people need in their community. So that's a community assessment, not what we think they need, but what they say they need. Right? Okay. So, yep. You know, thinking about the projects, if you have more hands, you can do more, bigger projects, more impactful. And I'm sorry, Dick, did you want to say something? No? Okay. No. So
just a thumbs up for Carol's comments there, because the need is great and the need is long-term. And while we want to do things in the short term, we're really looking at all of the things we can do in the coming years to serve those communities and to yep. bring others who want to serve the community into our fold to help. We don't need to fight with the Lions. There's enough work for all of us. We need to build more of us.
Yep, exactly. So it's we're a little past the hour mark. Do you want to continue a meeting once a month at this time on a Tuesday at 5:30? What works for everybody?
Good for me.
Okay. So
yes, that works for me. Yeah, just send out that notice and we'll be there. I'll be there.
Okay, good. And Nestorio, what you guys do on the Kona side is just awesome. You guys are out in the community feeding people, just incredible. Okay, so I'll send that. I'll try.
And by the way, let me just say something. Yeah, one thing I noticed is that members are most happy if they are doing something good for the community. And that's one I noticed when I was president and then became ex-president. They all show up. All members basically show up and show up the colors and the color of the uniform. And I think all differences set aside, and the goal is to be able to help the community. And in fact, in my club, 25% are Filipinos, Filipino Americans, and the rest are Hawaiians and Caucasians, things like that. But one thing I noticed is that there's no, can I say, African American member in our club, and so it would be nice if we could attract some a member.
Well, I know some over there. I'll send them your way.
You know that my veteran service organization. There's a couple of them, very nice people. Henry. I forgot his name, and his wife. They're very nice people. In fact, cook some Cajun food for us one time. Oh, that's awesome. But, yeah, it's just that's what we're lacking here. I guess when I was in California, as a Caucasian people out there, African Americans, and then being here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, who's more influenced by folks from Asia. It's a lot of migration from the Philippines, Japan, and all other Southeast Asian countries. So are more prevalent here, more prominent here than the Caucasian and the African Americans. So yeah, 25% Filipino Americans in my club. So, and we are most happy if we're doing something good for a community. Oh, that's my 1 cent.
Thank you. Okay, so Carol has some people she's going to send your way. But okay, so I'll try and do the minutes to the meeting with all of the comments and send it out. And there were some other people who wanted to join the discussion. And I think if we can continue the discussion and see what we can do, what little we can do or big as much as we can do is what this group needs to do. Okay, so any last comments from anyone?
Only one, if I could. I think what we need to be in each and every club and in the district is welcoming to those who want to become Rotarians. I think we need to open the door, not worry about quotas or percentages. We need to be comfortable and welcoming to everyone. And then they can decide if they like the way our club runs. And if they like another club better, we need to help them to find a club that meets their needs, whether it's their schedule, personality, whatever the case may be. But I think we need to welcome everyone with a hug, not a hand raised to say, I don't think you belong here. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Yes, we need to do that. Okay, so thank you everybody for being here and for the comments. And we'll meet again next month. And if you can get the gears rolling and see, how we can get more people to join in the conversation, this will be good. Okay, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.